Fight fixing. How common is it in boxing? Some people would have you believe that virtually every fight at top level is fixed these days. Some of the most recent examples of people who have claimed that a certain fight is fixed. One of the most recent examples is the Floyd Mayweather-Victor Ortiz fight. A lot of people was commenting on my videos saying, oh, this fight was fixed, this, that, and the other. Probably the most bizarre example of a alleged fixed fight is someone commented on one of my videos and said that they believe that the Lennox Lewis Hasim Rahman first fight was fixed and that Lewis took a dive. I mean, wow, you know, if Lewis was acting, then he deserves an Oscar for that performance, because he took a hell of a right hand that would have knocked out literally a horse, and his head hit the canvas so hard. Man, listen, there's absolutely no way in hell that Lennox Lewis was acting. If you've ever seen people get knocked out a lot, yeah, you will know how they react when they get hit hard, right? When someone really gets knocked out, you can tell by their body language and the way their body reacts that they have really been buzzed and knocked out. You understand? There was no way in hell that Lennox Lewis was acting when he got knocked out by Hasim Rahman. He just got hit with a hell of a punch. The best punch Hasim Rahman has ever thrown in his life. You know, people were saying, oh, how could he take Klitschko's punch, but he couldn't take Rahman's punch? Because Rahman hit him harder. Simple. You know, boxing is not about, you know, knockout ratios and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's some guys who don't have good knockout ratios because they don't have good balance. They're not very consistent. They can't land hard punches consistently in fights. You know, they don't have the skill or the ability to land those hard punches. But if they're in the right position at the right time and they get the right opportunity to land their punch, they hit you harder than anyone. It's simple. Lewis was knocked out by Rahman because Rahman hit him a lot harder than Vitaly Klitschko hit him. Simple things. You understand? It was definitely not a fix. And the Ortiz Mayweather as well, that wasn't a fix. You could tell well, I'm not going to say it could never be a fix. I personally don't think it was a fixed fight. But in terms of Ortiz being hurt by the right hand, he was genuinely hurt. You could tell the way he was on the canvas, the way he was struggling to get up. His body looked like it was moving in slow motion. He was genuinely hurt. He wasn't faking it. He was hurt from that punch. But how prevalent are fixed fights in boxing? You know, literally every fight these days, people say, oh, this is fixed. This is fixed. Another one was Pacquiao-Joshua Clottey. They said, oh, that's a fixed fight. It's fixed. You know, Clottey hardly fought back. I don't think that was fixed either. You know, if you know Joshua Clottey's style, if you know the way that he fights, I don't think he was fixed. Someone on one of my most recent videos, the David Price, John McDermott post-fight video, they thought that, you know, they commented that fight could be fixed. That one, I can see a case for that one maybe being a fixed fight. You know, I'm not saying it is. Don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting here and telling you that McDermott against Price was fixed. No, I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is, if someone were to say that it was fixed, I could understand why they would think that. Yeah, because both guys are promoted by the same guy, managed by the same guy, Frank Maloney. McDermott came out and fought completely recklessly, which is very uncharacteristic of him. And when he went down and got up, he didn't seem out of it, to me at least. He did not seem out of it. His eyes seemed clear, and he didn't seem that, you know, out of it. You know, when a guy really gets hit hard and buzzed and hurt bad, you know, he has a certain body language about him where you know that he's really hurt. I didn't necessarily get that from McDermott. That don't mean that it was a fixed fight. I'm not saying that, like I said, but, you know, I wouldn't, if someone came to me in 20 years' time and said, yeah, that fight was fixed, it wouldn't surprise me that much, put it that way. Tim Witherspoon, in one of his fights back in the days, he lost in the first round to Bone Crusher Smith. Now, he was on the TV here in the UK with Steve Bunce a couple months ago, and he basically, you know, Steve Bunce asked him about the Bone Crusher Smith fight, and I'm sure the video is probably still on YouTube. And from what Witherspoon says, he basically says that he was told to throw that fight. He's basically telling you right there and then that he was involved in a fixed fight. He says, listen, I'm going to tell you right here and now on TV, you know, this, that, and the other. And he put it in slightly coded terminology, but it was blatantly obvious what he was saying, that he was somehow paid to lose to Bone Crusher Smith in that fight, and that he threw the fight. And if you actually watch Bone Crusher Smith against Witherspoon, you could probably see that it was fixed, to be honest. I mean, some people might say, oh, Smith was just bitter. I mean, Witherspoon was just bitter and, you know, he's just making excuses. But I don't know, man. I think I tend to believe him. I think he probably was fixed. But yeah, how common do you guys think fixed fights are in boxing? Do you think they mostly happen at a lower level, or do they mostly happen at the higher levels? Give me your examples of fights which you believe were fixed, past and present. Yeah, just give me your thoughts. What do you think? Let me know. Me personally, I think that very few fights are fixed, but fixed fights do happen. I think most people that cry fix are guys who don't really understand boxing that well. You know, guys who cry fix virtually every fight. Oh, this fight was fixed, that fight was fixed. I think they don't really understand boxing very well, you know, most of the time. Some, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying everyone who says that a fight is fixed doesn't understand boxing. I'm not saying that. But people who, you know, just use, you know, shout out fix so loosely and liberally, I think more time they don't understand boxing and the way boxing actually works inside the ring, you know, because the way they expected the fight to go down didn't happen the way, you know, it didn't turn out the way they expected it. You understand? So in their own mind, the only way they can make sense of it is to say it's fixed, rather than to analyze what happened from a technical point of view. You know, they want to try to talk about foul play. So, but that's just my 2 cents, man. Let me know what you lot think. Which fights are fixed, past and present. Let me know. This is Hatman. I'm out.